Hi, good morning. My roommate just woke up just in time.
Perfect. I do this on purpose.
She waits till we get all the troubleshooting done and then she moseys on in for her coffee.
So we're technically recording in front of a live audience today.
Yes, a live audience.
Of one.
Of one. I'll hold up the sign when she's supposed to laugh. So true to form, that took us 22 minutes to get all our tech issues. We should keep track. I think we're getting faster or slower.
Well, it's just because you and I started earlier, Jen.
Yeah, Jill. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to introduce Jill now.
Yes, we have a guest.
Okay. So we have a guest, and her name is Jill Freeman, and she, along with her husband, Scott, own a jewelry store in Chicago called Bryn Mawr Jewelers. Bryn Mawr Jewelers.
Bryn Mawr Jewelry Company, if we're being like exact.
We need to be exact.
Yes.
Then yes, Bryn Mawr Jewelry Company.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, and I don't think Megan knows this yet, but Jill is a former bride of mine.
Absolutely not shocked at all.
Jill, share the news of what today is.
Today is our 9th anniversary.
9th. Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Congratulations.
I want to talk more about, we have a lot to talk about today. But before we get into anything, I think we just have to go through what's going on in our everyday lives. So, Megan, you look so excited to share.
Well, just because I'm kind of sick.
Are you really?
Kind of. Like I got a sore throat yesterday. You know when all of a sudden you're like doing something and a sore throat just comes out of nowhere and you're like, shit. That's how I was yesterday. So then, I don't know. I've got 2 kids. It's like there's germs everywhere in the winter.
Yeah, Jill has 2 kiddos as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm feeling okay. I would have canceled if I was horrible.
Okay. Jill, what's going on in your everyday life? Something you'd like to share?
I was up all night because my daughter is constipated and she's in pain. So I'm fucking
Oh.
I'm so sorry for her, but I'm tired.
How old is she?
She's 5.
Okay.
Dude, being constipated as an adult is horrible. I can't imagine being 5 and not really fully understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
We talk about poop quite a bit on this podcast, but when I was a nanny, I remember one of the kids I nannied for was constipated all the time, and her mom had to actually like stimulate her, if you know what I mean.
So
Ew.
like I think that might be happening tonight.
Yeah.
You might have to do it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Maybe we'll have you on again and you can update us.
Jen, what's going on in your life?
So I just got back from Bozeman, Montana. I was there doing a conference. So here's what I'm going to tell you. It's amazing. Go, because in 20 years it will be Nashville, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It is still like magical and unique, and pretty soon it will be like where everybody goes.
Oh man.
But I'm home and I leave tomorrow for Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to Switzerland? That's awesome.
I am. I'm going for a week and I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. That's like on top of my bucket list of places I want to go.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tell everybody how I know Jill.
You already told us.
Oh yeah. You're a former bride of mine. So, but no, you don't know the full story. I'm going to share the full story.
Good. Bring it on me.
Okay. So I moved to Chicago 12 years ago, almost like in March 20, whatever the math is. And I get on the old dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm still on the dating apps. Not much has changed. But anyways, and I matched with this guy named Lauren. And I go on a date with him. And about, I don't know, maybe a half hour into the date, we were both like, dude, we're going to be friends, right? But then we became friends. So it wasn't one of those like, let's be friends. I wish, and then we stopped talking to each other.
Yeah.
We actually legitimately became friends. And his brother, Scott, see where this is going?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not following.
Should I know Scott?
Wait. Yeah, hold on. Okay, good. So his brother Scott gets engaged to a beautiful woman named Jill.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. And Lauren gives them my number. They give me a ring-a-ling. We chat on the phone. I mean, it was 9 years ago. It probably was a legit phone call. And we started working together, planned their wedding. It is still one of my most favorite weddings I've ever planned.
Stop,
They-
really?
Yeah. I mean, it was actually more on brand for what I'm trying to do now than I think it was 9 years ago.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
yeah. They wore jeans.
Yeah. Be comfortable.
Isn't that fun? Yeah.
Chill vibes only.
And so, Jill, what was it like working with me? Tell everybody how great it was.
Highly recommend. Would do again. 5 stars across the board.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so Jill and Scott own Bryn Mawr Jewelry, and I want you to tell everybody the history behind it. But I don't think it. Well, I'll let you. Why don't you do that? So, tell us the history of Bryn Mawr Jewelry.
So Scott and I met on a dating app. I had always been in the jewelry industry growing up. I worked at a family friend store in high school, yada, 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 schmata. Then I worked for a diamond house downtown Chicago, and I had met Scott, and he had owned his store, which was then located on Bryn Mawr, which he bought in 2004 from it was kind of run like a pawn shop at that time, but it had always been a jewelry store since the early 1900s in that specific spot on Bryn Mawr. So we kind of just hit it off because we were both in the jewelry business, in the know, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, time out. Did you meet on Coffee and a Bagel?
No, we met on J-Date.
J-Date. Okay.
So 2015 happens. I was not happy in my job. I wanted to get back into the retail side of things. And it was either, all right, do I come work for you at the store? Do I go work for a competitor? Do we make this work? Is it going to break us up? What's going to happen? So we decided to take the leap, and I've been there since 10 years now, I guess. And we've built this pretty awesome store, and it works. We work together. It works for us. I know it doesn't for most couples, but
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Because I don't know much about the diamond industry. You said when you were telling your story that one of the shops used to be like a diamond house or something. What is that?
I used to work on the wholesale side of the industry. I worked for a diamond house who was just a diamond wholesaler who would supply diamonds to different retail stores across the world.
So would you go overseas and bring back the diamonds and then sell them?
I would sell them, but other people would bring them from overseas.
Got it. Okay.
Did you get wined and dined quite a bit in that? Like, what is that like? Like, are they like, sell my diamonds? How do they get you to sell their diamonds?
I hated it.
Okay, we don't have to talk about it then.
It was like a cold calling job, which I didn't realize it was going to be, and it was horrible.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So you decide to go into business or like work with your husband, partner up in another way. You're not married yet, though. You're about a year out from.
I started working there a month before we got engaged.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. So you're working. I remember when the shop was on Bryn Mawr. And then when did you, now Jill's actually around literally the shop's about a block away from me. When did you move to Clark?
We moved in February 2020.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
boy.
that's right.
And then we were shut down 3 weeks after we opened.
Yeah, which I do want to talk about because Scott was very active during the TikTok COVID days.
We had to.
And totally. Okay. So we'll have lots of questions for you, but today you're located on Clark Street in Andersonville. Much bigger shop, much more jewelry looking than, I guess I never thought of it the other location as pawn shop looking, but now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, it tracks.
It was just, I mean, the history of it was cool because it was always a jewelry store, but it was so small and so outdated, and you could only do so much within the space that we were given. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I recommend Bryn Mawr to all of my couples. And it's actually kind of cool, I think, because a lot of times the engagement ring was purchased elsewhere. And I'm like, do you need a recommendation for the bands? And I'm surprised by how many times people are like, yeah, we didn't really have a great experience getting the engagement ring. But okay, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. I always forget to do this, the pet peeve.
Yes.
So one of the things, Jill, that we make all of our guests share is a pet peeve that they have about what they do in this wonderful world of weddings.
Yes.
So I'll let you take the floor here.
I think I like when customers come in with some knowledge of what they want. However, my biggest pet peeve is when they come in as an automatic diamond expert because they have read X, Y, and Z on Google.
Yeah.
I appreciate some background and some knowledge, but it's also okay if you don't have it because that's what we're there to do, is to educate you. But you don't have the 20 plus years of experience that I have, and I'm not there to guide you in any wrong direction. Another big pet peeve of mine, which I actually probably should have led with, which really drives me up the wall, is when customers come in and they want us to repair a piece of jewelry, they like automatically accuse us of switching their diamond.
What?
Or like, well, can I watch you while you do it so you don't switch my diamond? How do I know you're not going to switch my diamond and stuff like that? And I get it if you've had a bad experience at another jeweler and something went wrong there. I understand that. But I would never risk like my children's college education of their lives on switching somebody's diamond.
Like, hee.
Yeah.
Sorry, but this is what went through my head with your first pet peeve. And I'm going to say it because I don't care. You're also dealing, I'd imagine, with 95% of these people coming in to buy rings are men. Is that accurate?
Surprisingly, when I first started in the business 25 years ago, I'd say yes. But now a lot of couples are doing it together.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, because it's a big purchase. It's something that you'll wear for the rest of your life. And a lot of them are designing them together now.
Okay.
I see that too, because I have couples where they're like, oh, we had the ring. I just didn't know when he was going to give it.
Okay. This doesn't happen anymore for me because I only work with both parties getting married. So like I'm not just working with one person in the couple, if that makes sense. When I did back in the day, when I didn't require both people to be part of the planning, it never failed that when it was a heterosexual couple, that the groom would come in at some point who has done nothing, has not been a part of any of the planning, and is like, well, why does it cost this much? And it's like, we've been working together for 9 months, Phil. And I could have educated you the whole time about why things cost what they do.
Yeah.
Wait, does any of you know a Phil? You're not married to any. No, your husbands aren't even Phil, are they? Just kidding.
I don't even know a Phil, I don't think.
But do you know what I mean? Like it's always like, well, if you've been a part of the process, so I was just curious if the person who's coming in with all this research about what things cost. So didn't mean to generalize, which I just did. But anyways, I did mean to generalize.
You did mean to generalize.
Sure did. I put on my generalization hat, came right onto the mic. Anywho, okay. So those are good pet peeves.
So, okay, that being said, so Jill, how would you, I don't know if you can answer this, but like, what would be ideal for you for a couple coming in? Do you like it when they have a very specific idea in mind? Do you like to help design things a little bit more?
I think it's very case by case. Like some people come in, they know exactly what they want, and we're sticking to that. Others come in and they don't know, and it's a collaboration of design, creativity that we all do together. So it's really case by case.
And since you have so much knowledge of diamonds themselves and jewels, I imagine, how do you go about talking to them about the different, I don't even know if it's called like grades of diamonds or price points?
Isn't it the C's? Clarity, carats, and...
Yes, there are the 4 C's.
Look at me. I knew 2 of them.
But however, now the lab diamonds are very big on the market. It takes kind of the analysis of picking a diamond out of the picture because lab growns are you're going to find them in pretty high quality because they can kind of manipulate what they get. So you're going to find high quality diamonds. Whereas with natural diamonds, there is some analysis to picking a diamond because they vary so greatly.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
Yes, the lab market has kind of changed that. And now it's changed the way that we're selling a little bit too, because there isn't as much analysis in lab growns.
So is lab grown cheaper?
Significantly. We like to say less expensive.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you tell her. Now, going back to your personal life a bit, you're in the jewelry industry and you know you're getting engaged. How did you design? Tell us about that. Like, how did you design your engagement ring?
So Scott did it himself. I had given some hints of what I wanted, which he actually didn't like, but he took it anyways. By the way, I don't have this ring anymore. I'm already on my second engagement ring.
Okay.
But my style has completely changed since when I got engaged 10 years ago till now.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that it's always evolving, but it didn't end up being my forever ring, which
It was beautiful. Okay, so you are going to have to tell everybody as well. So we're planning. Okay, so you get engaged. Finish the story, I guess. You gave hints, and what happens when you see it for the first time?
I loved it. It was beautiful. It was exactly what I was thinking. It was very custom, like it was one of a kind. And I said yes.
Yeah, obviously. So then we meet, we become BFFs, we plan your wedding. It's the most fun wedding.
It was a good time.
We start the hora.
Oh gosh. This video gets posted on our anniversary usually every year. So do you want me to tell?
I do.
So I told Scott is more religious than I am, which is fine. I told him I didn't want to do the hora, which is a Jewish tradition in every wedding, because I didn't want to fall off the chair. It's like my biggest fear. So I'm wearing jeans and this like white silk top. They convinced me to get on the fucking chair. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Oh, please.
They convinced me to get on this chair that has no arm handles, by the way. None. So they're throwing me up and down and I just fall off.
Yep.
Oh,
It's hilarious.
it's hilarious.
It was hilarious. The way I fell was like perfect. I kind of just slipped off. I landed like on my knees, but I was fine. And I just jumped up and I was like, let's go again.
Yeah.
My biggest fear came true. And you can see Scott's face in the video of him on the chair looking behind going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like everyone's jaw just kind of dropped when I went down.
Can we post this video when we air this episode?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll say.
I feel like Scott made that face because he saw his whole marriage flash before his eyes. So ever since, for the past 9 years today, I will not let my couples get into a chair without arms. You know, we learn things the hard way sometimes.
You're welcome for being
Yes.
the guinea pig on that, honestly.
Yeah. Thank you. You've saved countless other people from falling out of the chairs. Okay. So, wait, are you doing anything tonight to celebrate, or is like 9 when you have 2 kiddos kind of?
We are going out to Bistro Campagna in Lincoln Square for dinner.
Will that be
Ooh,
before or
nice.
after you shove your finger up your daughter's butt for the conversation?
That probably will be. I don't know. It's a good question, honestly.
Something to think about.
I guess we'll see what her status is when we get home.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be gone all day. So we'll see.
Okay. And how old are the kids again?
Miles is 7.5 and Jovi is 5.
Okay.
I have a Miles.
You do?
Yeah, he's 10.
I love that.
Okay, so let's talk more about the jewelry.
Yep.
Because, that's also what I like to talk about. What is one of the coolest engagement rings that you think you've ever designed?
Wow, that's a hard one. There's so many. There was one that Scott designed years ago. They were really big Star Wars fans.
Okay.
He made like 2 lightsabers holding the diamond. That was just really unique and cool.
Yeah.
There was another one that we made. her grandfather had designed one of the light posts on Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
We copied the design on the light post on her engagement ring.
So cool.
That's cool.
Really unique things like that always stick out to me. Hard question to answer because there's so many favorites.
So what, because a lot of people, don't know really how the process works. I think a lot of people are probably very intimidated about coming in and shopping for an engagement ring. And it's different if somebody is comfortable saying like, let's just go in and look and we'll find something that, is already there. But what if somebody is thinking that they want something more custom? What should they come in with or be prepared to tell you?
So what we do it more custom than just like out of the showcase, honestly.
Yeah.
The good thing is we have so many mountings in stock for people to actually look at and see. And a lot of people will pull like, okay, I like this aspect from this ring, but I also like this aspect of this ring. So how do we marry them together?
Yep.
That could be one thing that we do. The other option is somebody will come in with a picture. They're like, I love this ring. I can't find it anywhere. Can we make it? Of
Mhm.
course, yes, we can. So there's some people, it just depends, I think. A lot of people come
Yeah.
in, know exactly what they want. Some people have no idea, and then we go the custom route that way.
And if you're doing something custom, do you because you're going to put this together and you want them to like it, do you draw it out? Do you kind of give them a visual?
I don't draw. I can barely draw a stick figure. So Scott's usually the one who has more of the artistic talent and he can sketch something pretty well. Then there's a couple of routes to go with custom. The most route that we take is we would do a CAD design, which is like a computer design. So you can see
Yep.
an actual representation of what the ring will look like with the center stone that you choose. And from there, you can approve it. Yes, I love it. We also have the option of growing a wax model. So you can come in and see something tangible of what your ring will look like too. So we try and give like I'm much more of a visual person. So I
Yeah.
like to see all aspects of the design so I can get a good idea of what it will look like. And we try and do that for our customers too.
Yeah.
Times we don't do the CAD and Scott will hand carve a wax.
Oh, wow.
Depends on the design and how detailed it is. The nice thing is like the CAD can really do a lot, but there are just some things that are better done by hand.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
What are you seeing now, like, as the relationship with your clients progress? So it's like, okay, ideally they come in, engagement ring, wedding bands. What is after? I mean, like anniversary bands, push presents.
Yeah. We don't want just your one quick sale. We'd really want like to develop a relationship with you and be your family jeweler so we can help you celebrate all those milestones. So like you said, wedding bands, push present, anniversaries, birthdays, graduation gifts for your kids, like it really comes full circle usually with customers. We hope at least.
Isn't that awesome? I love that.
And I feel so lucky that we get to be part of such like a pleasant experience in people's lives.
Right.
I'm sure you're part of a pleasant experience, but it's also stressful planning a wedding at the end of the day and it can be hard to deal with. Whereas like in my aspect of it, like we're really part of like a really happy moment.
Yeah.
It's usually a pretty good process throughout.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of the things that I mean, it's funny. I'm going to say this and then counter it. But I sometimes am sad when the wedding ends, the relationship's over.
Not for you. You're friends with everybody.
I know.
Have you ever have somebody purchase a ring, one person, and then they propose, and then the other person comes back and no fault to you, but like they didn't like the ring and they want you to like redo stuff about it?
Yeah, that's happened a few times, which is why it's great when couples come in together.
Yeah.
People propose and they say no and they have this ring now.
Oh, yeah. What happens when that happens?
If we custom make it, like, I'm sorry, you're shit out of luck.
Right.
And it depends if the diamond's natural lab, we won't buy back lab diamonds. Naturals we'll buy back. But if you custom make a ring, you can't reuse that ring. So
be sure that they're going to say yes, or just slip it away and save it for the next one.
Well, my roommate, who's Rachel, a planner, she's been on the podcast, but like we talk about that all the time. Like an engagement shouldn't, like the fact that you're going to get married should not be a surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
So it can still be romantic and you can still be surprised when the ring gets pulled out. But like there should be a lot of conversations being had well before a ring
Yeah.
is purchased. I'm sorry.
When a customer comes in, they're like, okay, so if I buy the ring and she doesn't like it, or if she says no, what do I do? I'm like,
You get back on the apps and find
Yeah.
someone to
So what are the wedding or the engagement ring trends right now? Are you seeing any sort of trends?
yellow gold is still very hot on the market.
Okay.
Vintage is also very popular too. And then if people aren't going the vintage route, we're seeing a lot of ovals and radiants are really popular right now. And
Can you say what radiants are?
Yeah.
radiant is a cut diamond, so it comes either elongated or square. It's just like a very sparkly, faceted diamond. It's really pretty. It's kind of like a lot of them do elongated, so it's like a rectangular, sparkly diamond.
Okay.
A lot of like hidden halos, which is where the diamonds are kind of under. It's not the halo is what the trend that was when I got engaged. And now they're doing the hidden halo, which are diamonds like underneath the diamond.
Okay.
So we're doing a lot of that also.
Okay, another question. You sell an engagement ring that's like more lifted, right? How many times do you have clients come in once they've had kids and they can no longer wear the like protruding diamonds because it's like I cut my kid's face with my diamond. Is that when they buy a new band?
I feel like those really high set diamonds were a trend 20 some years ago. We don't
Okay.
sell a lot of really high set stones anymore because they're not feasible.
Yeah.
But I do have people come in who are like, 10, 15, 20 years that have been married. They're like, okay, you know what? I love my diamond, but I want to design something new with it. So that we
Mhm.
see.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm curious what the trends are with same-sex couples. What do you see there with engagements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's been a big uptick in buying
Yeah.
because people are scared of what's going to happen, which I understand. A lot of same sex couples come in together and design together. Some will do like engagement rings for each one and they'll pick out like, okay, I like this stone and this stone. I like this part of a ring. And then they'll each come back separately, which is still kind of the same even with heterosexual couples, and then design from there. A lot of them will kind of do this, like have complementary like engagement rings. Like somehow we'll have matching in a way, like let's say they both do like blue sapphires that match, but
Mhm.
the rings are different, or the style of the ring is same, but the center stones are different. We've had a lot of men come in who do bands for each other. Some are matching, some aren't. It varies.
Yeah.
Or like I've had a lot of women who one will propose first
Mhm.
and do a ring, and then the other will come back and get a ring and then propose again to her. So it varies.
I heard that that's called, so they pre-pose and then there's a proposal. That's what Rachel taught me. So like one of the partners will essentially propose first. It's called the pre-posal, and then the other partner proposes, and then it's the proposal.
Okay.
Cute. And then it's cute. I love plays on words, you guys. You know? Okay, Megan, your question.
Yeah. My question was obviously a custom jeweler is different than going into like a chain in many ways. Usually, when you do something that's a custom small business, it can be a little bit more expensive. So I was just curious, what should people be prepared for if they're budgeting for something in the future? Like a range or an average cost for an engagement ring. Obviously, there's a lot of outliers, but I was just curious if you kind of, kind of like bridal gown shops, they put on their website, like, be prepared to kind of spend between this and this. Do you have like a range that's more common that you see?
For custom, it really varies. I can say it depends on the price of gold at that time too. We've
Mhm.
made custom rings for as little as $1,500 and as much as $70,000.
Right.
We like to work within a customer's budget and what they're comfortable with. So I'm always I always like to ask, what budget would you like to stay around? So you give me your budget and I'll tell you what's doable and what's not doable in that budget.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me where you want to be and I'll tell you what we can do within that.
Yeah, and it's also probably very helpful for you if they're honest up front about their budget so that you're not pulling out diamonds that are not within that budget.
We're very laid back. We're very easygoing. We're not a pressure type of environment. We
Yep.
like to educate our customers so they can make the best informed decision that they can. And like asking your budget, that's the first question I usually ask. Like, what budget are you looking to stay around? Because I
Mm-hmm.
only want to show you options within that budget. I don't want to show you something that you fall in love with that you can't, that's not feasible
Right.
for you.
I do want to ask a question because I feel like it is something where, like, for the whole wedding, there is not really good information out there for couples to educate themselves. So they come in, here's our budget, and it's like, not here, it isn't, and it's like, you're going to have to double that. That average that you saw was for, like, a small town. And where do we always say? Some small town in Idaho? I don't know.
Yeah.
How many people just shooting from the hip would you say, what percentage of people come in with a budget and then exceed it by their choice, not yours? Like, they see what their budget can do for them and they're like, oh, maybe bring out the other tray.
Not as much as you would think, because lab grown diamonds have really allowed customers to afford much larger stones than they would have with natural.
Yeah.
Like, for people will come in and say, I want a lab grown diamond, my budget's $10,000. Well, you can get like a 7-carat diamond for $10,000. So, and most people don't want that. So they end up spending a lot less even. But
Okay.
you can't get that size in a natural diamond. So
yeah.
Are people kind of snobby about diamond? Like, I think I would come in and be like, I don't want a lab grown diamond.
I think 10 years ago, yes.
Uh-huh.
But 70% of the diamonds we sell are lab grown diamonds.
Interesting.
I wanted a lab grown diamond. That's what I asked for and was not given one. And that's why our marriage didn't last. I'm just kidding.
I want somebody going into the mine and pulling it out of the earth.
When they first came out on the market, probably, Jen, when you were getting engaged, they were just as expensive as a diamond.
Oh, were they?
As the technology has gotten better, as the market's become saturated with them. I mean, you can get a 1-carat diamond for $600.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to propose to myself.
You should.
So I wanted Scott to design a ring for me. I haven't done it yet because as soon as I asked him to do it, I stopped booking weddings on purpose and had no money. And now I'm trying to make money again. So, I mean, I still am waiting. I'm still going to have him make a ring for me. But because I'm so excited about it. Like, I'm so excited to like have a ring that I purchased for myself, that's like made for me.
Yeah.
I do have to share a really quick story that I feel like doesn't apply to where we are in this conversation, but who cares? But one of my favorite stories is about my aunt's engagement ring. So she got engaged in 1990, whatever. Not that matters. A long time ago. And my uncle was so excited to propose to her that he did it without a ring. Like, they were up in Door County and he just was like, I can't not ask you to marry me.
That's cute.
I think it is cute. My aunt did say that she had to think about it.
At least she's honest.
My aunt is a practical Taurus. You know what I mean? She just, and so she came back and she's like, I thought about it and yeah, let's do the damn thing. So they go to the jewelry shop together because he's like, let's pick out your ring together. My uncle was very progressive.
Yeah.
At one point in his life. So they go to the jewelry shop and my aunt walks up to the case to the section that she was like, this is reasonable, and starts looking. And he literally was like, takes her and like pulls her down like 4 sections. And she was like, oh. And I love her ring. It's so beautiful. If she'll let me post a picture of it, I will show it to. But it's very unique, very cool. And I just thought, like, how funny. Because that, I probably, if that was me, I would have gone to that section first. And my fiance would have been like, yeah, no, you're going to have to come down about 4. So anywho, that's my story. What were we talking about?
Rings.
Rings. Okay, great. Then that did apply. But if I ever do get married again, I'm only inviting former couples to my wedding.
Wait, that's a great idea.
And then I'm gonna sit y'all at tables that I feel like, you know, I'll be like, oh, Jill and Scott will really like Kelly and Patrick. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. It'll probably happen in like maybe 10, 15 years when I'm ready to settle down.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so is there anything else that I mean, like, what else do we need to know?
Yeah. Is there any other advice you'd give to people or anything that you want people to know about you and your company? You can be salesy.
Oh yeah.
A salesy. No, I just think like I said, we're just like very laid back, good sales staff. We just want you to have like a fun, enjoyable experience. And we really do want to be like your jeweler for everything. That's really it.
Yeah.
We enjoy what we do. I feel like we're very lucky.
Yeah.
They are also right across from Hop Leaf, so you can get a drink right after or before.
Nice.
I will say it is important to share the rules of wearing your engagement ring and what to do and what not to do, because I feel like most people have no idea. So I will say this. And by the way, we are a repair shop also. So if you don't follow these rules, please come to me and we'll repair your ring for you.
And not steal your diamond.
And not steal your diamond. Yes. Never wear your jewelry in chlorine. Chlorine eats the metal from inside out and basically it just crumbles over time.
Okay.
Try and get in the habit of taking your ring off when you sleep. You shouldn't sleep in your jewelry. And even when you're washing your hands, taking a shower, try and take your ring off there, because even though a lot of people think soap cleans the diamond, it actually soap scum gets like stuck in the ring and can really irritate your hand and cause a rash. And then never wear it while you're working out or doing any heavy lifting, or especially if you have a vintage ring, Megan, try not to do any crazy things with it because they're so fragile to begin with.
Yeah.
And can you also give us some tips on cleaning the rings, actually? Because you know what I think is the coolest thing ever is when you can tell somebody's cleaned their ring because it looks like it's triple the size. Like, it's wild.
You can just use warm water, and we use Mr. Clean and we dilute it with water, and you can just soak it in there. We also like sell a ring cleaner too for $10 that you can just kind of clean your ring in. But also we offer free ring cleaning too. So if anybody's in the area and wants to come in and get their ring cleaned and checked, then please come in. We'll clean it for you.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say check to make sure the diamonds aren't loose, right?
So check every 6 months to a year.
Oh boy. I'm way overdue.
Well, come see me then.
Also, I'm gonna come back in because my necklace got tangled again. Will you untangle it for me again? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. So when I come visit you, Jen, we have to stop at the jewelry store.
Oh yeah, because literally right across or right around the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm going to. I know I started out the episode shouting you out or whatever, but I love you guys.
We love you and we appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but it's just like it's laid back. You just educate people. Like you do what I do for jewelry that I do through the whole wedding process. So if you are in Chicago or really anywhere drivable to Chicago,
yeah,
go to Bryn Mawr Jewelers Company.
Jen needs to do a better job of writing down the names of the businesses of our guests before we get on these podcasts. She has yet to get one right.
Even our own, I was on a podcast and they asked the name of my podcast and it was a whole conversation. Anyways, it's fine. It's part of my act. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Yes, thank you.
And one final question.
Yes.
What happened to the dancing jeweler? Where did he go?
He's still around. We just haven't had a lot of time to do it.
What is the dancing jeweler?
So during COVID, we built this beautiful new store that we had to close 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I invented this dancing jeweler persona, and I made Scott dance in our basement, drink wine, and sell jewelry.
That needs to come back.
I agree.
People recognize him. We were at a Cubs game over the summer. Somebody recognized him. Like, we were at a
Yes.
concert. It was like, hey, you're the dancing jeweler. Like,
Oh my God. That's great marketing.
it is. We just haven't had the time.
I think you need to make the time.
Yeah.
People ask about him.
Yeah.
You have to do weird stuff like this as a small business to try to get attention.
I agree. It's like whatever you got to get people's attention. Also, though, like you can sell jewelry internationally. So
Yeah.
it's like get that dancing jeweler back. I'd like to see some more of Scott dancing around with wine. But I will say, too, I texted Jill this. But I've joined a soup club. I think we've talked about it on this podcast. So once a month, I get together with a bunch of gals and we exchange soup. Sorry, not just gals, bunch of people. And we exchange soup. And my podcast came up. I don't know how. Oh, I do. I just said it out loud. And I said, and we were chatting, and then I heard somebody talking about Bryn Mawr at the soup club. And I was like, oh my God, I'm having Jill, one of the owners, on my podcast. That's how it came up. Okay, sorry, I did not bring up the podcast. I heard somebody having a conversation about Bryn Mawr jewelry, and I was like, oh, I married the owners, and one of the owners is going to be on my podcast. And then everybody was like, podcast? And that's literally how it happened.
Yeah.
But I texted Jill right away because like, how fucking cool is that?
That is cool.
The best part of it when you like see the people out in the wild, like wearing the jewelry that you helped create for them. It's pretty cool.
And talking about you.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyways, well, thank you so much for coming on. Happy anniversary.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
We hope a lot of people in your home today take a massive dump. And yeah, I'll pop in later and get my necklace untangled. Thanks so much.
And I'll surprise you sometime in person.
I would love that. Have a great time in Switzerland. Can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Bye, Jill. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel-related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to plannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planner's Passport and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.